Let me guess, you're tired of trying to lose weight and always failing. You've tried hundreds of times and nothing seems to work. Feeling like a failure over and over again. If you're anything like me, you probably also got into a mental dump at some point and just decided to completely give up. You let yourself go and now, many months later, you just can't handle it anymore. So you built up the courage once again, headed over to the internet and started searching for the new miracle way to lose weight. Which brings you to this video, a video about a relatively new dieting strategy called intermittent fasting. We see all the success stories of people losing kilogram after kilogram with intermittent fasting. People all over the place are raving about the health benefits. So what does the science really say? Is this truly the golden key? The ultimate dieting strategy to trump them all? As I always say, the body is beautifully complex and many factors play a role in whether a certain diet works or not. To understand why intermittent fasting works so well, we first have to know what it actually is. In essence, with intermittent fasting, an eating window is set in place. A very good example of this will be the well-known 6-8 window. You fast for 16 hours and eat for only 8. The effects of fasting on the body has been studied for many years and according to science, can bring many benefits. The biggest benefit, in my opinion, is a reduction in insulin resistance. What this means is our bodies become more sensitive to signaling molecules which regulate whether we use energy or store it. Insulin, together with glucagon, control our blood sugar levels. The problem with insulin resistance is, if the body is insulin resistant for too long, the pancreas will be in overdrive to produce enough insulin to break through the resistant cell walls. And just like a car engine, if you push it into the red for too long, it will break. And that's how diabetes happens. If you have elevated blood sugar levels for too long, you'll have the pancreas overproducing insulin for too long. Eventually, the insulin-producing cells just die. And the sad part about this is we only start to see symptoms of this after 80% of your insulin-producing cells have already died. So now we can see that if fasting does improve our insulin sensitivity, then this could be a major reason to consider it. But that's not all. No, science also showed us that fasting increases the secretion of human growth hormone. Major plus points of this include improved recovery rates and improved health of skeletal systems like bone, tendon, muscle, and ligaments. So if you're an athlete, then this might be your reason to give this a try. Now the list of benefits goes on and on and on. Some of them have more scientific backing than others, but the overall sentiment is clear. Intermittent fasting looks very promising. Before I move on to who definitely shouldn't try intermittent fasting, I want to show you this study. If you know anybody who is sick or struggles with neural problems, then this paper will get you extremely excited. In this study, they get some crazy results showing that fasting promotes the secretion of neurotropic factors. Neurotropic factors help the promotion of growth of brand new neurons and helps the health of the old ones. This applies to Alzheimer's, multiple sclerosis, dementia, acute neural damage. The list goes on and on and on. And that's not even all. Another study showed that fasting promotes a process called autophagia. Fancy words for cell eat sick cell. In essence, a cellular cleanup mission is initiated. This is super exciting for anybody who has an autoimmune disorder. We know now that fasting promotes many physiological changes in the body, and interestingly, most of the benefits come from the changes of use of energy systems in the body during a fasted state and a non-fasted state. When we eat food, our body breaks down the food in the stomach and the nutrients is transported into the bloodstream. Carbs, for example, enter the bloodstream as glucose and gets used or stored dependent on the amount of energy that is needed by the body at that stage. When in a fasted state, the body doesn't get any glucose from the food and therefore switches from a carb-driven energy system to a fat-driven energy system, mostly ketones. This fat used as fuel and the improvement of insulin sensitivity, the hormonal control of energy storage, could be the main reason why fasting is so effective for weight loss. And the fact that you literally just don't have the same amount of time to eat. Think about it, you can only eat that much in 8 hours. Now, it's important to know that intermittent fasting isn't for everyone. This dietary approach is not for diabetics who struggle to control their blood glucose levels. It's also not for young developing children. It's definitely not a good idea for pregnant women. And if you are somebody who has any organ complications, it's also not for you. Lastly, if you're somebody who has had an eating disorder in the past, like anorexia or bulimia, then this also isn't a great idea for you. So say you don't fall into one of these categories that I just mentioned. Say you've decided to give this a go. Where do you start? What do you eat when you break your fast? We have to remember that our body has been without external nutrients for 16 hours. Our insulin levels are low. Our blood sugar regulating systems are not at optimal speed yet. So you do not want to consume anything that will rapidly spike your blood sugar levels. I'm speaking about simple carbs, white breads, white pastas, and fruits. Preferably opt for something like a low GI carbohydrate, something like brown bread with seeds or brown pasta. And don't forget to add some healthy plant-based fats and lean protein. A well-rounded meal like this will help your body gradually get to where it needs to be again. If you're completely new to fasting, I'd recommend start with a 12 to 13 hour fasting period and gradually build it up 1 hour extra every few days until you get to your desired 16-8 window. The truth is though, at the end of the day, we can search for many reasons as to why this new diet strategy could be the golden key. But in reality, it's just another way to tell you that you should stop over-consuming. When you think about it, only having 8 hours a day to eat basically means it's much more difficult to overconsume. Many people struggle with snacking, whether it's late at night or throughout the whole day. And what that leads to is an overconsumption of energy. And if you consume too much energy, the body will be forced to store it. That's how you gain weight. So if your goal is to use intermittent fasting for weight loss purposes, I recommend making some healthy changes to your diet as well. Add lots of green vegetables, add lots of plant-based fats, avoid saturated animal fats, add a bunch of lean meats and proteins to your diet like egg whites and chicken breast. Avoid simple carbs such as white breads, sugars and soft drinks. Rather include low GI carb sources like brown breads, brown pastas, etc. If your diet is currently very unhealthy, then a change like this will definitely already be very beneficial. Intermittent fasting does come with risks though. Many people report headaches, fatigue, and struggles with heartburn. Whether this is an acute response from sugar withdrawal or something else, we don't know yet. Most of the studies done on intermittent fasting has been short-term studies, and we simply don't know the long-term effect on the body yet. All we can say is that it looks promising, and if it works for you, well, then great. We need to remember that not everybody is the same. We are all different. Therefore, the same approach won't work for all of us. We often search for the miracle diet, the key to solve all of our problems. But when we look at our current lifestyles, it's sugars left, right, and center, fast foods, junk foods, you name it. In most cases, cutting out this junk will be the solution to get your body in a healthy place again. And we know that to be true, but we always search for reasons why we aren't the problem. On a more exciting note, I've decided to put this dieting strategy to the test. For the next 30 days, I'll be doing intermittent fasting, and I'll be documenting the whole journey. You will see that video here on YouTube soon, and in the meantime, you can follow me on Instagram to follow the journey there. I really hope you enjoyed this video and that you got some value from it. If you have any other questions, feel free to drop it in the comments below. And as always, please remember to like and subscribe to this channel. Right, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.